Welcome back. This is episode 183 of the NYYST podcast. I am your host, Christian. As always, joined by my co-host, Chris.
Yo.
And it's that guy, Rye.
What up?
What do the kids say these days when a song is good? They say it slaps.
Is that slap at the bass?
Our new intro slaps, guys.
Slaps.
But
Slaps got a lot of...
It
needs a little tweak.
Tweaking.
A little tweak. We could tweak. You want to tweak?
Leave it. No, you can tweak. I'm just going to, do little sniffies.
Sniffies?
No, I had a rule. If I had a rule: no snorting and no shooting. That was my rule.
I was just no shooting.
Yeah, we could tell your brain is definitely like
it's fried. I have holes in my brain.
Yeah, I have one in your ass as well.
It's pretty big too.
Yeah, I know. That's why before we started recording, I told you I didn't have time for you to take a shit today.
I'm on this new diet, bro. It's phenomenal.
Yeah, it's called. Should I say it?
Yeah.
The cock meat diet.
The cock meat diet. I wish. It's just animal meat.
Carnivore diet.
Yeah. I'm telling you, bro. It's unreal.
You know what? Your wife says you're in a better mood, even though I think it's a stupid diet and it's a fad, and you need other things in your life.
It's not a fad. That's the thing. You're so stubborn and ignorant.
It's not ignorant. I'm allowed to have my opinion, just like everybody else is allowed to have their opinion.
Your opinion typically doesn't matter when you're not a doctor or professional in the field, right?
Okay, well,
and if that's the case and you want to have an opinion on it, then you should do your research. That means you're ignorant.
Doctor, go fouch yourself.
Hey, doctor, go fouch yourself. Shutting down the country soon.
But as I said, your wife says that you're in a better mood lately, even though I haven't seen it. So I'll say if it's working, it might be more mental than physical for you. So, whatever works for you. Bro.
Whatever you can do to get a shot in at me, right? It's more mental than physical, aka doesn't look like you lost anything. It's because I'm so fat. I still have to lose 15 more pounds just to be the fattest I've ever seen myself.
You've been on a diet for 2 weeks. What do you think is going to happen?
Yeah.
Like
I've been on the diet for on and off. No. I've lost 15 pounds already.
Okay.
But I'm just saying I'm so fat that it's one of those times where if I saw someone I hadn't seen in 5 years, they'd be like, whoa, you got big. And I'd be like, this is me down 15 pounds. So I'm trying to stay in hibernation for a while.
I always felt that when somebody says, wow, you look like you lost a lot of weight. It was just a backhanded compliment for, damn, you used to be so fat.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you know what sucks for people like me and you, because I know you have this issue too. We fluctuate so much. So, like, you feel good for a while. You lost a lot of weight. People give you compliments. And then you don't see the person for a couple of years, and you come back and you look fatter than ever. And then you feel like shit the entire time you're with them because they're sitting there going, what happened? He put it all back plus some.
Yeah, I mean, I feel okay right now. I'm working out again, but I'm not like heavy lifting because I really can't because of my back. It's just, now I'm 36 and, it's harder to get rid of belly fat right now. So
speaking of harder, this episode is I'm just practicing for when we get him on
anyway,
board.
I don't know how we got sidetracked, but I did want to say, while we were talking about the entrance song to the show now, if you like the new entrance song, tell us while you're leaving us a 5-star rating and review.
Absolutely.
Christian, I think you should rock the mustache for the 2020 shortened season. What do you think?
I don't know. You think that would scare my kid?
No. It's still too young to really grasp that. But I think you go with the mustache look this year for the season.
I don't know. She recognizes me now. She's at the age where she definitely recognizes me.
I think you can pull it off.
Oh, you could definitely pull it off.
I've tried it. Chris has seen when I shave my beard and I send pictures of just the mustache. I don't know. It's kind of
You might have to become a cop right after you do it, though.
I'm a cop?
A quap.
You might look like a quap.
Yeah, fucking quap. My favorite time every year is when the Yankees report to spring training and Christian has to shave his facial hair. And he sends us pictures in, like, different time lapses of when he's shaved. So, like, I'll get one half of his face shaved. Or he just rocks the huge mustache.
Because that's the longest the beard will be all year. Because from the day they get eliminated to the opening of spring training.
Or win the World Series.
Well, yeah. I mean, I don't know. If they win the World Series this year, I don't know how I would handle it. Because this has just been a new thing that I do, like, in the last 4 or 5 years. So if they win the World Series, maybe I shave regularly through the off season. I feel like the team lost, so I should be punished in some way because I feel like you went on this journey with them, so now you have to suffer as well.
I agree.
Although they're all going back to their $1 million homes, so
true.
They're not really suffering as much as we are.
Very true.
So lots to get to this week. We have a full slate of content here. The Yankees we're recording Thursday night. It's about 8:45. The Yankees are just wrapping up another intra-squad game. This is the third one this week. I've watched bits and pieces, probably more than I thought of each of them. I don't know what you can take away from these games. It's kind of just there, and it seems like the pitchers are ahead of the hitters. I really haven't seen much in the terms of good hitting. More so as maybe you've seen better pitching right now. I don't know if you guys disagree with that.
I think we said that last week that pitching should be more advanced than the hitting because pitching you can work on this entire time. Hitting is different. When seeing live major league pitching is so much different than anything else you're going to get. But I think the biggest takeaways from these games are not the actual game. I think the only real thing you can take away are the pitchers. Because you're not looking necessarily for results, but you're just looking for good mechanics, good pop on the fast. These guys are throwing like 90-something, 99, some of them. So they're ready to go, and you got some good curveballs right now. Ryan, ever since Ryan made that point last week about the warmer weather, I'm really noticing a difference, especially in the pitching right now, obviously, just how loose these guys look. So, I mean, Clark was friggin'... Oh, no, not Clark Schmidt.
Schmidt.
Yeah, Clark Schmidt.
Clark Schmidt.
I got confused because we were talking about him before. He looked phenomenal. And, like, you're not taking away, like, yeah, he looked phenomenal. He had 4 strikeouts and whatever. No, you're just looking at his stuff. He's got some good stuff, man. If he doesn't overthrow that fastball, he paints the corner with that, and then that knee buckling slurve, whatever it is, slider, curve, I don't know, is unreal. He throws it a few different ways to get hitters. So I was most impressed by him for sure.
And I think he's somebody that we would have probably seen a decent amount of if we played a full season this year. I don't want to see a lot of them in the shortened season because it doesn't, that's not good.
What about out of the bullpen?
He's a starter though. You really want to go that route? I mean,
in a shortened season, though, to get him some work and to...
Yeah, I don't know if I want to mess with his development, though. Like, but again, there's no minor league, so
that's what I'm saying.
What are you going to do?
That's what I'm saying. I mean, it's better than nothing.
Well, you'll have the extra players on your roster, so maybe he can get a spot start in every now and again. Or
I wonder if these guys have a league they can play in at least. There's got to be a league.
I don't know. I mean, maybe they might scrimmage...
just to get the work in.
Yeah, they're probably because once camp breaks, there's going to be 30 guys sitting around doing nothing. So you can split them up 15 and 15, have 2 teams play each other. I think I don't know where the Yankees are going to send their guys to. They can send them to Staten Island. They can send them to Trenton. I don't know if they're going to go to Scranton, but I know the Mets are going to be in Brooklyn. So. If they're near there, maybe they would do something where they might scrimmage the Mets regularly.
Yeah.
That might have, so. But before we get into anything deeper with what happened in some of these inter-squad games, because it does this will tie into Garrett Cole as well. I came across this headline. I didn't read the article because the article doesn't. I mean. It's inconsequential because, the article is written by a writer named Marcus Hayes. Now, I don't know if we should bash him because not always most of the time I should say, the writer does not write the headline for his article. Somebody else does it. But the headline to this article, and I'm reading it exactly here. Zach Wheeler, Mike Trout consider opting out. See, that was nice rhyming, so I gave him a point for that. And then he goes, abandoning their teams and the game. And that's where he completely loses me. Because now, if you don't really know anything, you're just reading that, and you're like, Mike Trout and Zach Wheeler aren't going to play baseball this year? They're going to abandon their teams? What bad people.
Yeah.
But you have to dive deeper into that, and then you realize that they both have wives that are due to give birth during the season. Now, we do want to congratulate Garrett and Amy Cole. Their son, Caden, was born on June 30th.
And
so,
he's
it's a baby. I mean, let's not
cute.
make that
You can't
joke.
say cute baby.
No, because I know
you're
what you
such
were
a
doing.
douche. You're a douche.
I know what you were doing.
You are a dick and a douche.
Anyway, what was I saying? So the Yankees don't have to worry about this because, I mean, Garrett Cole and his wife had the baby. I do want to say, if Garrett Cole listens to the show, my daughter's 2 months old. So, you want to schedule a play date for Caden and Ava. I'll give you my, I'll give you my number, bro. You can text me anytime.
My son's not good enough. My son's not good enough, but a Major League Baseball player's son is.
Do you have $324 million?
What if he's a douchebag? Will you suck it up and just tell your daughter that she's got to live with it?
How many World Series is he going to win us?
4.
Yes, absolutely. But anyway, I wanted to get this out of the way early because it does tie into Cole and some other stuff here. But you have to be more responsible as a headline writer than to write something like that, because you have to understand something. These guys are not abandoning their teams. The most important thing in their lives should be the birth of these children. I believe it was Sean Doolittle that said last year, and I can't remember the name of the player, who had a kid during the NLCS. Maybe Ryan can look it up. I think it was Daniel Hudson.
Yes, it was.
He closed the World Series out.
100% him.
Yeah, Daniel Hudson.
And he missed the NLC part of the NLCS for the birth of his kid. And Sean Doolittle said, if you have anything to say other than congratulations, is everybody healthy, you're an asshole.
I agree.
And that's how I feel about this. The concern of these guys, the anxiety of these guys, I should say, must be through the roof right now, because I just went through this, and I may have told this story on the show before, and if I haven't, I'll tell it again. We just said my daughter's 2 years old, so that means she was born during the pandemic. There was so much anxiety leading up to her birth of whether or not I would be even allowed to be in there. And then, Murphy signed. The one good thing he did is that he signed an executive order that women were allowed to have a support. They deemed it a support person with them during birth. So I knew right there the hospitals couldn't keep us out. But, how do I pay my bills? How do I put food on the table? How do I make sure that my daughter and my wife have insurance? I have a job. I work for a distribution company. I travel a lot. I'm all over New Jersey. I have stops in Pennsylvania. I have stops in New York. I'm everywhere. And I'm telling you, the last 2 or 3 weeks leading into the baby's birth, my anxiety level and stress was through the roof, because you walk into that hospital, you pop 100 on that thermometer, your ass is out of there.
So they don't test you, right? It's just a fever test, right?
For the father.
Right. So here's where it gets tough for a guy like Trout, right? He's in a profession where these guys are going to get tested every day. The likelihood of all of us having this at some point and not showing symptoms is extremely high. And if that were the case, as just a normal human being and you don't show symptoms but you have it, you're not worrying about anything because they're not testing you when you're walking in. But if Trout tests positive less than 2 weeks before the baby's about to be born, even if he's feeling fine, he cannot go into the hospital. So now he's at higher risk of not being able to be there for when his child's born.
And you know what? Maybe I am a little overly sensitive towards these guys because I just went through this and I know what it's like. Hey, man, you know what? And Chris can vouch for this, knowing me as well as he does. In the entire time you've known me, outside of, especially since I've been married, outside of the Yankees, we'll take them out of this. What's been the one thing I've always talked about, and it's been the most important thing to me?
Having a baby.
Having a kid. And it wasn't easy. Some people think you snap your fingers and you get pregnant.
That only happens in high school when you don't want it to happen.
Yeah, right. It doesn't work like that. And then to finally get there, and then to have a pandemic going on and have to worry about not being able to be there is fucking stressful.
Crazy.
And I don't blame these guys one bit if they don't think it's safe for them or prudent for them to be there if it's going to cause them to miss the birth of their children. I'm sorry, I don't. And I would feel the exact same way if Amy Cole didn't have their baby and Garrett Cole was thinking about not playing this year because I'm sorry, any fan that says, "Oh, these guys are assholes because they're not, they should put the team." No, you should put your family first. The birth of your child trumps everything. I'm sorry.
Everything.
I'm sorry. That's just the way I feel about it. So to be the person, and in my tweet yesterday, I called the person that wrote the headline a piece of shit because you have to be a piece of shit to phrase something like that when you know the reason why. I was going to say Harper. I think, even though I believe they just had a baby too, if I'm not mistaken, the Harper, Bryce and his wife, Mike Trout and Zach Wheeler. You know the reasons why they might not want to play this year. You can't. I mean, that's just a scumbag thing to do. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
that's just the way I feel about it.
Yeah, you're talking about a guy who, in Mike Trout, it's not even arguable. I mean, the guy's the best player in baseball. But his national presence is so minimal, and we say this all the time. Being on the team that he is, his national presence is so minimal. Now you're posting a story that, to the average person who doesn't know that he's having a child, we all know no one reads articles anymore. It's all about the headline, and they're spreading this, and all of a sudden, people who don't follow the game closely but know who the caliber of player Trout is. Now it just looks like he's a fucking piece of shit. When really the person who wrote the article is, or the person who wrote the headline at least.
Like I said, I don't know who. I didn't read the article because, again, they could have 100 times in the article.
You didn't have to at that point.
It could have said 100 times in that article that Wheeler and Trout have pregnant wives due to give birth during the season. But the fact that somebody wrote that's a clickbait headline. That's exactly what that is.
Yeah.
And it's irresponsible.
It is.
It's irresponsible.
It is. And my thing to you guys, and we started to get into this in our group text, isn't there now I could be wrong, maybe MLB put these rules in place and I don't know. Isn't there a way for the Angels to protect him at this point and say, look, you can opt in to the season, we'll pay you your money, and if you feel more comfortable only showing up after the birth of your child, even if it's in August, you show up when you're ready, and we'll get you back in the lineup, and you're not going to miss any pay or anything like that. Can't the Angels do that? And don't they owe him that?
He's in their player pool. They don't have to make him active. As far as I know, he's on their player pool. He doesn't have to be, he doesn't have to be active. He doesn't, like when they break camp and they start on the 24th, he doesn't have to be on the active roster.
Right. So why aren't the Angels coming out and protecting the one great thing that has happened to this team? The one guy who is so loyal, he shouldn't have signed that friggin' contract, but he's so loyal he did. He doesn't want to be anything but an Angel. And now the guy's getting ripped apart because he wants to be healthy for the birth of his firstborn? I mean, come on.
I don't know. I guess they're leaving it up to him if he wants to play or not. Right now,
but that's my thing. Don't leave it up to him. You sit him down. You say, look, we know you want to play, and if that means that you need to stay home until the birth of your child and you come back when after he or she is born, I don't know if he's having a boy or a girl or if he even knows, then that's fine with us. It's the least we can do for you at this point.
I think you let him make that decision. Let him take it as far as he wants to take it. If he wants to practice right now, you let him practice.
But why don't you? I mean, maybe they did sit him down. I'm saying yes, leave it up to him, but let him know that that's an option that you're okay with.
Well, I don't know. We don't know if they had that conversation.
Well,
or not,
come out in the public and say that you did to protect this guy.
But why does everybody need to know everything? Why can't people just be fucking normal people and be civilized? Oh,
it's just not how this...
Trout's abandoning his team. No, he's not. He's not abandoning his team. And if anybody on that fucking team feels that way, they're a piece of garbage too.
Yeah, it's just not how this world works anymore.
I'm sorry, man. I take offense to shit like that when I see it. Maybe, like I've said this 100 times leading up to the birth of my child. Like maybe I would feel differently 10 years ago, but I don't. This is how I feel now, and I think it's a more mature and adult-like response to things that people should respect people that want to be there when their kids are going to be born.
Yeah, look, and if you're younger and you don't get it, you don't have a family like that, and you're being ignorant, whatever. But if you're an adult with a family and have kids of your own, and you're still sitting there saying this guy's a piece of shit, maybe you're the piece of shit. Maybe. Like, it's not definite, but maybe.
I'm telling you, man, just to put a bow on this here, Chris, you've been through it twice, with the birth of your two of your children. I mean, I wouldn't trade that experience for anything.
No.
Even, I couldn't. I mean, even if I played Major League Baseball and it was Game 7 of the World Series and I was on the mound, I was supposed to be on that mound that day, honestly, and then people are going to be listening. Yeah, but you would never be able to pitch in Major League Baseball. But I'm telling you right now, I would prioritize that. And like Daniel Hudson did, he said, "Fuck the NLCS. My kid is being born." So it's not that some asshole with a podcast saying it. A guy that was helping his team get to and win a World Series said it too last year. So it's
not even a question. It's just not.
But what is a question is also not a question. And we can segue out of this here is how angry Garrett Cole was when he pitched the other night. He was pretty mad.
Well, after he gave up the bomb to Miggy, a Miggy bomb?
Well, here are these stupid ass coronavirus rules that they have, right?
I know.
So only the pitcher and catcher are allowed to touch the ball. So once the ball is thrown or fielded barehanded by another player, it has to be thrown out. And then the ball, no shit, I'm not even kidding you, then the ball gets quarantined. It gets disinfected, and then they can play with it again in 5 days. Okay?
Like, they literally came out 3 weeks ago, and they were like, yeah, by the way, we were wrong. It doesn't stick to surfaces, we don't think. And now they're doing this with the baseball?
But this is what, and then I don't know if you caught this earlier with the NFL. You know how they do jersey swaps at the end of the game?
Yeah.
They're not allowed to do that anymore. So you're allowed to tackle and lay on top of each other for 3 hours, but hand somebody your jersey, no, we can't do that.
That's been my biggest issue with this whole pandemic the entire time is just the inconsistency. Nothing makes sense.
No, it doesn't.
Right? How come the infielders, right? If the ball's hit to shortstop, he throws it to first, gets the out. And then the infielders can throw the ball around. We've seen it during the scrimmages and whatever. But then once it gets back to the pitcher, they have to throw it in or kick it in as far as Zach Britton's concerned. Why? I just don't get that. And so it's okay for Torres and Voit and, whoever else is on the field at the time to get to touch it.
No, I get it.
But then the pitcher can't at that point.
Or like if Cole and Sanchez can handle it, but a third party, no, then we're done.
Yeah, right.
So I don't know if you caught it. In the first inning of they didn't play Wednesday night. Tuesday Cole pitched. So Tuesday night, Cole comes out on the mound, puts Mike Tauchman away. Boom, boom, boom. Right, looking fantastic. Sanchez, force a habit, throws the ball around the horn. Right. Ball comes back to Cole. He's told he can't use the ball anymore. Now he's fucking pissed because he just struck out Mike Tauchman. He likes that ball.
Love the ball.
He loves the ball, right? So he gets a new ball, doesn't like it, gives up a home run, and now he's even more mad.
Yeah, he's pissed. Ryan was telling me that. And you know what? You know who I thought of this whole time when I've been watching these games? CeCe. Like, CeCe's one guy, as long as you don't throw the ball around after a strikeout, he'd be fine with this rule. Because CeCe, if you remember, every time he gave up a hit, when the ball got back to him, he would throw it right in. He would always want a new ball. Gave up a hit, bad ball. Bad ball.
But like today, I was watching it, and Adam Ottavino was on the mound, right? And I think I don't know. I think it was a ground ball somewhere. So it goes. Let's say I forget who it went to. Let's say it went to third. I think it went to Urshela. So we'll say it went to Urshela, to the first baseman, who I believe was Voit, and then Voit threw it back to Ottavino. And Ottavino's got to throw the ball away. Why isn't Voit throwing the ball away? Why'd he throw it back to Adam Ottavino?
Right.
And Ottavino touched it with his bare hand. He should have he didn't even bother to like flip it with his glove. So these guys, it's just maddening, man. Like
it doesn't make sense. It just doesn't make sense.
And now they're allowing the pitchers in lieu of licking their fingers, which Zach Britton said today that he would actually, because we saw that Clint Frazier actually wore a mask while he was at bat today, that Zach Britton said that he would consider it if he didn't have a bad habit of licking his fingers, which he can't. It's against the rules this year. That's why they're allowed to keep a wet rag in their pocket, which is just going to lead to cheating. Come on now.
And wet stains in your back pocket.
Yeah, I wouldn't want a wet rag in my pocket. But I'm throwing pine tar in that rag.
Yeah, I was gonna say, why don't we do a little Michael Pineda, and just let him throw a little pine tar on the neck.
Now, because now you're not allowed to get 6 feet of the umpire. Who's gonna inspect the rags?
Right. This is crazy.
But my point about Garrett Cole, baby, is that a lot of Yankee fans were like, "Oh, Cole was pissed because I think the Yankees lost that game 1-0 on the Andujar home run, and he was mad that they lost, and he says, I'm always out there to compete. I don't even care in a game like this. I want to win. And people were on Twitter like, oh, he's got to calm down. No, the fuck he doesn't. That's the type of competitor you want on the mound. That's the type of competitor you pay $324 million to. That's the type of competitor you expect to be the horse and the ace of your staff. So, no, I don't think he should calm down that he lost a scrimmage game. He should want to go out there and dominate and be the best he can be at all times. And he didn't see it as quote practice. He went out there and said, you know what? This is somewhat of a competitive environment. I want to go out there and win. So you want to see that type of attitude out of Garrett Cole.
Yeah, when you have this little preparation leading up to the season, man, when you're out there on the mound, it's a baseball game. You're not thinking of it any other way. Like I said, these guys look like they're pretty ready to go, and now it's more of a mental aspect for them. Can't go out there and just say, it's a scrimmage, fuck it.
So, I mean, and outside of that, I mean, I think he struck out 6 over 5 innings, so he looked pretty good. I mean, again, you can't really take too much out of it. But again, and then people like you were like, oh, Clark Schmidt looked really good. And then people were trying to throw cold water on it. Like, oh, what are you going to take out of these games? The fact that he looked good.
Yeah, I mean, you're just looking at stuff. Like I said, you're not looking at results.
Nobody said he's going to become Roger Clemens.
No, you're just looking at stuff. And when a guy has that kind of stuff, I don't give a fuck what kind of game he's pitching in. You can see talent. If you know a good pitcher, when you see one, you would say that this kid's ceiling is very high. And I think the Yankees have a really good pitcher potentially on their hands.
It's like I always tell this story. It's like when we went to Scranton and we heard all this shit about Chance Adams, right? And then we saw him and we were like,
sucked.
Okay.
Dude sucked.
Why, were you there when we went to Scranton?
Yeah, I was there. He was topping out at like 92.
He might, maybe if he popped a blue chew, he'd chop out at 92.
Well, we were there with, who was it, Nick Goody's friend?
Nick Rumbelow.
Nick Rumbelow's friend.
Wait, we were
Rumble, bro. The Rumble, bro.
Let's tell a quick story. We're at the Scranton game. This is when you had Rumbelow down there. You had Ben Heller down there.
Dixie was down there on an IL stint.
And then who was the outfielder that we loved? He just got traded last year. McKinney, right? And Chance Adams is pitching, and we're messing with Rumbelow.
We were standing above the
bullpen,
home bullpen.
Yeah, and we're going Rumble, bro. And then this kid comes up to us, and he's like, "That's my boy down there."
He was wearing a Rumbelow like college shirt.
It was like
jersey.
Yeah. Crazy.
Like, that's my friend down there.
He probably custom made it. He's like, yeah, it's my boy. We're buds.
I didn't think he responded.
I'm like, oh, how do you know Rumbelow? You went to high school together? It's like, nah, he autographed my baseball once. Like, that's it? That makes you bros?
So we met, and believe it or not, Nick Rumbelow had a fucking stalker.
Yeah.
And we met, and we were lucky enough to meet him.
Best friends.
That was a fun day, though. That was the only time I've been to a minor league game. It's pretty awesome how they are with the fans. Like how they had people like fishing down baseball cards for them to sign over the dugout, stuff like that. They have a cool connection with their fans.
Someone else was having a minor league stint at the time that was pretty big. I can't think of who though.
Probably Greg Bird.
Hixie. Yeah, I think it was Bird.
No, it wasn't Bird.
I remember Hicks because I
Was it
yelled
Austin?
something at him, and he turned and he looked at me like, "Shut the fuck up."
Might have been Tyler Austin. I forget.
I know. I think Tyler Austin was just down there, like he was sent down.
I don't
Maybe.
know.
But he had a bomb in that game, I think.
Hicksy was robbed of a homer, I think, in that game when we went.
Yeah.
Hicksy.
Yeah, that was fun.
Rumble Brow.
Unfortunately, they're not no minor league baseball this year, so.
Yeah.
But so we mentioned Miguel Andujar, who hit the home run off of Garrett Cole in that in what do they call it? Intra squad? There's so many different things going on. It's hard to remember everything. And I think the Yankees have a bit of a Miguel Andujar problem on their hands because what do you do with Miguel Andujar? How do you tell Miguel Andujar that he's not in the lineup every day?
It's tough.
And where do you fit Miguel Andujar into this lineup?
Yeah, that's why it's killer that Stanton's not going to play the outfield. I mean, that solves all your problems right there.
Yeah.
Does it, though?
It does.
It helps.
It does.
All right, so you have Stanton in left field. Let's say hypothetically he's able to play left field, right? So it opens up the DH spot. So you automatically say, boom, Miguel Andujar right there.
Yeah. Yeah. Why not?
I would put Andujar out there with the lefty on the mound, righty on the mound, go Tauchman. Although Tauchman's actually might profile better against left-handed pitching. But you're going to have to platoon Miguel Andujar.
Yeah, I don't think you have to. Why do you have to?
Did the Yankees
Do you think he's going to start?
No, I don't think he's going to start, but I want to.
If he's going to play, in my opinion, if he's going to play, the only way he's going to see that time is in a platoon spot because he's not going to play every day.
But are you saying he's a platoon player, or you would platoon him
he's
to
saying
get him
that
at
you
bats?
have to. That's the only way to get him at bats.
Yeah, I see
don't
him
know
getting
about
at
that.
bats against left-handed pitching this year.
I think I think maybe you would be more likely to put him in, but I don't think he would be exclusive to play against lefties.
No,
Let me ask
I
you-
don't think so either. But I do think that he'll face more lefty starters than righty this year.
Did the Yankees give up on him in the outfield? Is that not a thing anymore?
He's been playing the outfield in these games.
Okay, I've only been really paying attention a lot to the pitching.
And half the time they don't even put fielders out there. Like
Right.
they'll play
There's
3 or
like
4.
yeah.
But no, Andujar's he misjudged the ball today, and it dropped, and Mike Ford, wanted to punch him. It looked like, but
Well, it's just like having Frazier out there.
is it though? You
Kind
feel
of.
Like, you kind of feel like Clint Frazier should know better.
Yeah, I'd hope Frazier's a little bit better than Andujar out there.
But speaking of Clint Frazier, he has plantar fasciitis right now. So
Oh my God.
I mean, what's going to happen with him? Are we giving up on him completely?
I don't think the Yankees are giving up on him completely. I mean, I just don't. I just think we're at a spot right now where Clint Frazier's trade value of being a legit top piece to get a big player back is gone, and I think him being a superstar is also gone. So now we have to kind of find the middle ground of what we can do with Clint Frazier. Can he be an everyday player, a solid borderline all-star or everyday starter in Major League Baseball? Can he be that?
Well, we're talking right now about where we're going to find room for Miguel Andujar.
Yeah, and I think Frazier belongs, as part of this conversation because, all right, so we said if Stan's playing left field, you want to DH Miguel Andujar every day. But
Right.
we know that, and I didn't, maybe I heard him wrong. It could be, but Evan Roberts said that when he spoke to, and I didn't hear the interview either, when he spoke to Aaron Boone last week, that Boone said guys are going to get rest this year. I know that doesn't sit well with you. It doesn't really sit well with me either. I think in 60 games, if guys are healthy, they should play 58 of them at least.
I was the first one to say that and be all for that. But watching some of these scrimmage games, I'm not necessarily going to freak out about it because I realized something the other day. this team offensively has such depth this year if they can stay healthy. I mean, think about the bench you would have on any given game, right? Most of those guys can be starters on other teams. Guys like Frazier, Miguel Andujar. Who else? There's a couple other guys.
You think Mike Ford or Mike Talkman could be starters somewhere?
Absolutely. I think Talkman, given what he did last year, could definitely be a starter on like a low level, minor league, not minor league, National League team that, like the Pirates or someone last year. Absolutely.
I think he played well enough that you should give him a little bit more credit than that.
Yeah, but to me right now, he's still more of a fluke than anything else.
Yeah. All right, so then is Gio Urshela a fluke?
No, because Gio Urshela sustained that for an entire year where Mike Talkman didn't get that kind of playing time. We think he did, but he didn't. He wasn't in this lineup every single game. He didn't stay healthy for an entire season, and it wasn't as complete as Gio Urshela, in my opinion.
Let's take a look at some numbers here. Gio Urshela hit .314 with 21 home runs and 442 at-bats. Okay. Mike Talkman
hit what, 302?
In half the at-bats, 260, had 13 home runs and batted .277. So...
Yeah, so what happens if you...
And Mike Talkman's WAR, 3.8. Gio Urshela's WAR, 3.9.
Well, I looked up platoon splits between Urshela and Miguel Andujar. Gio Urshela, man, against lefties, hits 303 in his career, where Miggy only hits 255.
Yeah, I think he's another player, Andujar, that actually does better against right-handed pitching.
And that, I'm sorry, I think that was just... I did 2019 because that was Gio's first like real offensive season where he broke through. So, I mean, he had a really good 2019, batted .320 against righties. But he's a much better hitter against left-handed pitchers than Miguel Andujar is. So, I think if anything... If you're going to get Miggy at bats, it's going to be against right-handed pitching as opposed to lefties.
So I don't think it's fair to say that you think that Talkman's a fluke, but Gio isn't. I think that you have to put them both in the same category. I think because Gio played more. But if you would have, what if Miguel Andujar, what if Mike Talkman got close to 500 at bats?
Then if he sustained it, I would have said
he could have hit close to 30 home runs.
Could have. Which is why I said to me, he's still a fluke until he sustains that the way Gio Urshela did. I justified my reasoning. Yeah, Gio Urshela sustained it over double the amount of at-bats, and he did it for a full season.
Sustain it into another season. That's why until I see it again, I don't believe it. For a guy that was basically picked up off a scrap heap, the Indians didn't want him, the Blue Jays didn't want him. Yankees, I think Brian Cashman sent $80 Canadian up there to get him.
Yeah, I mean, the guy defensively, I don't know if this stands out to you guys as much as it does to me, but in 2017 when the Yankees were playing the Indians, a couple plays that this guy made, I was like, he's a phenomenal fielder. But offensively, he was nothing.
He started a few of those games, if I'm not mistaken, in the division series in 2017.
What was the play where this is standing out to me because I feel like it was right after a big Gio play when he robbed someone and I was pissed. And then wasn't it Sanchez who got like a double or something, but then he got caught off the bag and got picked off at second?
Ronald Torreyes.
Oh, right. And I was so pissed.
We were on the phone during
we had to hang up. We had to hang up.
Because everybody's hero, Ronald Torreyes.
Yeah.
So, we can keep going down the ladder here. If what do you think about Miguel Andujar at third base? Do you think Gio Urshela deserves third base right off the bat, opening day? Gio Urshela third base.
100%. It's not even a question.
I think so. opening day, but I don't think he doesn't have that security if he struggles out of the gate and Andujar's popping. Then they might replace him.
And then let's say there's so many ways that you could look at the way this Yankees roster is constructed. If Stan's playing the outfield, when is Mike Tauchman or more importantly, Brett Gardner playing? Are they just defensive replacements?
This is exactly why I just said I don't mind guys getting some rest because the depth on this offense is something we're not used to. Like last year, we thought we were going to have that kind of depth, and then everyone got injured, so we didn't really get to see it. But this team at full strength right now has a really good problem on their hands, but it's a big problem.
And you have to think that they're at full strength because if Stanton, Judge, and Hicks are playing these games, and Hicks and Judge are in the outfield for these games, even though I don't know what type of action they've been really seeing out there, they're ready to go.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. My biggest thing right now when it comes down to Andujar and Urshela, we really have to ask ourselves, especially in a shortened season with no minor leagues and anything like that, who's your future? Who's your future third baseman? Because if the answer is Miguel Andujar and you're confident in that, if you're going to say to me that Urshela was great last year, but he's really not, you don't think he has the talent to sustain it, then you're throwing Miguel Andujar out there most days because you can't afford for him to just rot away on the bench and not get those innings out in the field when he needs to work on his fielding if he's your future.
You can't afford for him to rot out on the field and boot the ball around and cost you games in a 60-game season.
Well, that's something where I know it's normally pitchers who have the short leash, but in this case, he has a short leash on getting his shit together at third base. But
because I've seen him fielding balls at third base, and I still don't like what I see with the way he throws the ball over there.
Yeah, so then you give him you have a short leash on him, but to me, like my gut tells me, as much as I love Urshela and I think he was phenomenal last year, my gut tells me, if anything, Miguel Andujar has much more talent left in him for a longer period of time than Gio Urshela does for this baseball team. And in that case, I don't like the idea of Gio Urshela starting every day and a guy who needs a lot of work out in the field, if he's going to be my future, is not getting any reps at third base.
But now if Gio comes out this year and replicates what he did last year, then is he your future? Because service time-wise, he only has a year more than Andujar. He's only at 2 years of service time.
Yeah, listen, I don't understand the knock on her. Like, I think it's just because he's a Yankee that people had to come out and say he's really not that good of a fielder. Yes, he is. Mm-hmm. He's a great fielder, especially if you want to compare him to what we've seen out of Miguel Andujar.
I can almost, you know what, and this is going to get us into a thing about fucking analytics again. I can live with offensive analytics. I can't I honestly, and this could be the old man yelling at the cloud. I can't get down with defensive analytics because it's just so stupid to me. I watch a guy with my eyes and be like, that's, and see, that's a great player. He doesn't make errors or whatever. And his ultimate zone range is -100, so he sucks. And Derek Jeter was a piece of shit at shortstop. Yeah, when he was fucking 40.
Yeah, when it comes to fielding, especially at third base and shortstop, a lot of it cannot be statistically quantified, right? Like, when I look at Gio Urshela, it's not necessarily about his range or his arm to me, as it is his just natural instinct to know his first step on that he's making on a ground ball, how he knows where that ball's gonna hit. It's tough to read hops, to just be natural at it, and he's naturally on top of his game at third base.
And I understand that some players have better range than others, but how I really judge a defensive player is if I get nervous if the ball is hit to them.
Right. And we all know that Miguel Andujar, we held our breath every single ground ball.
So if the ball goes to Gio, are you having a mini panic attack?
Absolutely not.
No. When the ball got hit to Derek Jeter, especially take his prime days, Did you feel like the ball was going to get kicked around or thrown into the stands?
Can't even remember a time once in his entire 20-year career that I felt that way.
That's how I judge defensive players. If I get if the ball's going to Aaron Judge, I get, we'll say 99% confident because he's number 99 that he's going to make the play on it. If the ball's going to Clint Frazier, different story.
A little bit.
So
a little bit.
That's how I judge defensive players.
Who gives you more anxiety, Frazier in the outfield or Miguel Andujar in the infield?
I gotta say Andujar. There's more. I think there's more that can go wrong.
Yeah, because he's got to still throw it.
Larger sample size too, but man, last year Frazier, every time the ball was hit to him, he messed it up.
But here's the difference, right? As much as I believe that Miguel Andujar's, a lot of it has to do with a mental thing. It's also a mental
thing with Frazier too.
Well, that's what I'm getting to. Miguel Andujar is a lot of mechanics and just, like I said with Gio Urshela, a natural over there. Miguel Andujar isn't. With Frazier, I think, if anything, it's like 95% mental. Because we've seen him make some spectacular plays. He's fast. He knows how to track down a ball. It's not difficult plays that he has issues with, right? For Miguel Andujar, a lot of the time it's a difficult play or a throw across the diamond. With Frazier last year, it was cans of corns he was dropping, like easy fly balls that he was sitting under.
Cans of corn.
Cans of corn.
Nothing's a can of corn for Clint Frazier.
Nothing. He doesn't even know what corn tastes like.
Red Thunder.
But he's another guy. If Stanton is playing the outfield, where's he getting at bats from? He's not going to be a DH if Andujar's getting at bats. This is going to be really tough. I mean, and I guess that's, maybe that's why Boone does want to rest guys. If you want any type of productivity out of guys like Frazier or Tachman, Gardy, Andujar, where you got to get them at bat somewhere.
Yeah. Here's my thing though that we all need to see out of Aaron Boone. If he's going to be resting guys, it needs to be because these guys need rest. It can't be to get guys reps because we were so close to not having a season at all. And what would happen in that case? These guys can still have a routine to stay fresh and get reps in and everything. We can't be substituting guys just to get them into games. If he needs to rest guys because he truly feels like they need rest, so be it. And in that case, this team has enough depth to still be nasty with any lineup you want to throw out there. But let's not go out of our way to make sure Clint Frazier is getting at bats this year if he's not our guy right now.
True. I would have to agree with that. But what do I want to say? Unfortunately, DJ LeMahieu and Luis Cessa tested positive for COVID-19. Cessa's dealing with symptoms. DJ is asymptomatic, but he's obviously away from the team. And in these intra-squad games, you've seen that Aaron Hicks has been the leadoff hitter. Do you like Aaron Hicks as the leadoff hitter?
I don't mind it. I think he's got... See, the thing with me for Hicks is like, first of all, it's tough to even put his entire career together right now as a Yankee because he's been hurt so many times on and off. But I feel like he's evolved into more of a pop kind of guy where that's not bad to have at the top of the lineup. But I'd rather have a guy like DJ who I know is putting the ball in play way more.
Switch hitter, can work counts.
Yeah, no, listen, I don't mind it. I think if he's got to be the guy right now, then we're lucky to have a guy like him at the top of the lineup. But if you're asking me if I like him or DJ better, we're talking about a guy who puts the ball in play 90% of the time.
Because it's really interesting if you think about it. Where does Hicks slot if and when DJ gets healthy? So you're saying that LeMahieu comes back, he's your leadoff hitter.
Yeah, and then I'm potentially putting Hicksy ninth.
So you're going to go Hicks. I'm sorry. You're going to follow me here. You're going to go DJ 1.
Correct.
Judge 2.
Correct.
You like Labor 3.
100%.
Do you go Stanton 4?
No.
Who do you go for?
I probably go Sanchez 4.
And what do you do with Stanton?
Stanton, I'm sorry, man. You got to put him lower in the lineup. I
You're
can't.
gonna bat
I
him
can't.
sixth?
I
I'm not
don't.
gonna bat
Maybe.
Stan sixth.
Yeah, maybe.
You
I
gotta
can't
hit him clean
have.
up, too.
Look, here's my problem. I cannot have so many swinging. I can't have a swing and miss guy like him hitting fourth anymore.
Then maybe here's what you do. Then maybe then it goes Stanton 4, Hicks 5, Sanchez 6.
I could live with that.
Then where do you go? Then you got your first baseman,
Voit.
7. Maybe you want to go Voit 7,
Mm-hmm.
Miggy 8, or Shella 9. Is that what you do?
Yeah. Yeah. I don't mind that.
Is that that's a fucking lineup right
That's
there.
a lineup. I mean, like I said, now let's talk about replacements, right? Okay, we're gonna sit Gio for the day. Okay, we're putting fucking Miggy in, right? Okay, let's bench. Who do we want to bench?
Judge.
Let's bench Judge, putting Frazier in this lineup, or we're putting Talkman in this lineup.
Like Talkman.
I mean, or Guardy's getting in there. We have
Piggy
a
bombs.
lot of depth offensively to match our depth in the bullpen and starting pitching.
I would like Hicks leading off though. He had a 366 on base percentage his last full season, and I believe in 2018 he was. I don't know if it was the second half of the year. He was leading in walks at one point for a span of time. That's a good guy to have.
Would you give any credence to not batting DJ LeMahieu lead off?
If you want to put him third, then maybe.
I don't think you can.
Nah.
I don't think you can. What do you do? You have to bat Gleyber Torres third. I think you have to.
I don't mind Gleyber Torres fifth.
No. I want Gleyber Torres up in the first inning, bro. He's my best player.
All I'm saying is if you want to put DJ third, I wouldn't mind him fifth.
No.
Or even fourth.
You're gonna bat cleanup?
Listen, man, cleanup is not the same spot in the lineup
Didi was hitting
anymore.
cleanup.
I mean,
a lot of time.
let's get over it now.
I want to guarantee myself Gleyber Torres in the first inning. I want to maximize my at bats for Gleyber Torres. That's why he bats no lower than third.
You want to get real? You want to get real about it? If now the new thing,
let's get real, bro.
If now the new thing is batting your best player second instead of third, which whatever analytics, I
guess. You want to
guess.
swap him in Judge? Fine, I'm okay with that.
Hey, let's put DJ second then.
No. See, that's where I agree that DJ LeMahieu profiles better as a second place hitter, but I have to have Judge and Gleyber batting in the first inning.
So then there's no other way to do it than DJ batting leadoff. And I honestly would put Gleyber second.
I have no issue if you want to swap Gleyber and Judge, but they both have to bat in the first inning for me.
Okay. Then I'm putting Judge third. Because I think with the protection of Aaron Judge behind Gleyber Torres.
But the only reason why you're not going to do that is because you're going to have to bat Stanton cleanup, and you don't want Judge and Stanton back-to-back because of the strikeout probability. It's the only reason why you wouldn't do it.
I don't think it's a big deal having him fifth.
Who?
Stanton.
So who's batting fourth?
I don't know.
Hicks.
Maybe.
If you're going by last season, it'll be LeMahieu leading off and Judge hitting second, and Stanton would be somewhere after that, but he wouldn't be hitting fifth.
Hey, we just talked about Didi being the cleanup hitter, right? If you want to compare two players, switch hitters, and guys who have pop that don't really expect to have pop, Hicks and Didi are the same in that way. I wouldn't mind Hicksy batting fourth. And I like having him actually fourth because then you can split up lefty righty with that switch hitter. It solves a lot of your problems.
I just think that they won't bat Stanton lower than fourth. I just don't think they will do it. I wouldn't drop him past fifth personally. I still want him up in maximum RBI opportunities. Maximize my RBI opportunities for Giancarlo Stanton. So you really can't bat him lower than fifth. That's why.
Yeah, I agree with you. My biggest thing though is like we have a lot of guys who get on base now at the top of this lineup. And now you bring up guys like, Judge has to be better with the swing and miss, but we know when he gets hot, he's red hot. And so can Stanton, but Stanton is all or nothing. We know that, and I'm okay with that. But it's more difficult to live with when you have so many guys getting on base
And that's why you can't bat him lower than fifth, because you got to give him the chance to give you all.
I'm saying fifth. I don't like him fourth. I actually like Hicksy in the 4 spot. I actually do.
I wouldn't mind it, to be honest with you, but I don't know.
Because how many righties are you going to have come up in a row?
It doesn't matter.
I know it doesn't matter. I know at the end of the day it doesn't really matter anymore. But that would solve a lot of your problems. And, hey, Hicksy's clutch. Hicksy's clutch.
He's a bum.
Yeah, he's clutch.
All right, let's get on to a couple things about the schedule. First, just a quick couple of notes about this year's schedule. Let me find the tweet here. I gotta get a new phone. You know how your phone fucks with you when it's like 5 or 6 models behind the current one?
Yeah,
because they want you to buy a new one. Yeah,
I think Apple got snagged for that. I think they got sued for that.
Yeah, well, can I join in, because they're definitely doing it right now. All right, so as part of summer camp, the Yankees are going to play 3 actual exhibition games. They're going to play this coming this coming Saturday. Next Saturday, the 18th, 7:10 at Citi Field. Then they'll be home Sunday night, 7 o'clock against the Mets, and then the next day, Monday, 6 o'clock. The 20th against the Phillies. All games will air on the YES Network. That'll be interesting to see Joe Girardi and Didi Gregorius in Philadelphia Philly uniforms at Yankee Stadium, of all places. And then here are a couple of notes here about this year's schedule. The first home, we all know it's set in stone, July 23rd in their nation's capital, Yanks against the Nats. Garrett Cole, baby, and it looks like Max Scherzer. I mean, you really can't start the season off any better than that with a pitching matchup.
Is that
like
the opening game of the season, or are they doing a day game?
Because they're doing a double header, but I believe it's Giants.
Oh, it's the
Dodgers.
West Coast. Okay.
Yeah, so it's a West Coast. Yeah, all right. Not that it matters because nobody will be here, but Boston comes to the Bronx for the first time July 31st to the 2nd of August. The actual Subway Series games this year will be in Citi Field August 21st to the 23rd, and then they'll be at Yankee Stadium the 28th to the 30th, and then maybe Derek Jeter will show up, but because the Yankees will close the season against the Marlins the 25th through the 27th. So that's this year's schedule, and then I wanted to bring up, because they in such a hurry to release next year's schedule. April 1st, April Fool's Day, the New York Yankees will kick off the 2021 season, hopefully raising a fucking banner in the outfield. They will be playing the Toronto Blue Jays April 1st. Other highlights of the schedule here. Let me just scroll down here. The Houston Assholes will come to Yankee Stadium May 4th, 5th, and the 6th. The Yankees will be playing the NLYST again. I think that was just scheduled that way. Also, the Boston Red Sox will come back to the Bronx June 4th, 5th, and 6th. Then they'll be in Fenway June 25th, 26th, and 27th. And here's what I'm really excited for.
Can't wait.
I think Major League Baseball really did it right this year.
Absolutely.
Everybody said, or in 2021, everybody says, the Subway Series games don't mean anything anymore. Well, in 2021, they're going to mean a lot, because they picked the 2 best fucking weekends. I don't know if the second series is on the weekend, but they picked the 2 best times that you could possibly do it for the Subway Series in 2021. The Yankees will host the Mets July 4th weekend, the 2nd to the 4th. So, I mean, that's pretty fucking awesome right there. I always think the Yankees and Mets should play big-time games, especially against each other on a holiday weekend. And then finally, I've been a big advocate of this and it is a weekend, actually, forever that the Yankees and Mets should play each other on September 11th. And for the 20th anniversary of 9/11, the Mets will host the Yankees September 10th, 11th, and 12th. So I mean,
that's going to be a phenomenal night.
I can't look. Nobody wants to get excited over the anniversary of 9/11 because obviously of what happened,
Yeah.
But Major League Baseball got it right. The 20th anniversary of 9/11, the Yankees and Mets are playing in New York. That is getting it right.
And you know what? Going a step further of getting it right, I think it's right that the Mets are home. I do. I think it wouldn't be the
Because
same.
they played the first home.
Yeah, when I think 9/11 and I think of baseball coming back, outside of the Yankees making that crazy run into the World Series,
I was there. I saw Mike Piazza hit the home run.
the first thing that comes to my mind is
I got the ball.
Shea
Mike signed it for
Stadium.
me.
Shea Stadium when the Mets and the Braves came out before the game, hugged, and the entire stadium was chanting USA, and then Piazza hit that huge home run.
And if you really want to get it right, MLB, because they kept Joe Torre from doing this for I believe that maybe it was Joe Torre that kept the Yankees and Mets from doing this. Allow them to wear the NYPD hats.
Yeah.
Allow them to do that.
Yeah, Lonzo got into some trouble over that last year.
Yeah, and you know who I have throughout the first pitch?
George Bush.
Absolutely.
That would be cool.
And he gets up on that mound, thumb up, and he throws that pitch 20 years later.
Yeah, I would like that.
That would do it if you want to really, really do it right. But I'm so happy that they did that because I believe it was on the 10-year anniversary, or it might not even have been a numerical anniversary like that, 10 or 15 years. But the Yankees, the Giants and Jets were scheduled to play each other during the season, and whenever they play each other every 3 or 4 years. And September 11th was on a Sunday, and I said, "You gotta. How do you not have the Giants and Jets play each other on 9/11?" Mm-hmm. But they didn't. I think the Giants were in Washington, which
they're playing regular season games by September 11th.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's usually the weekend after Labor Day.
Mm.
I think the NFL missed the boat on that one, but I'm so glad that Major League Baseball got their head out of their ass on this. To allow the Yankees and Mets to play each other in New York on September 11th.
Definitely going to be a special night.
Now, just to look at this season's schedule, I wanted to see what people were saying about who has the easiest schedule for these 60 games. And I'm actually surprised that a lot of people are saying the Yankees actually have the easiest schedule. Tom Verducci, he picks the Yankees as the easiest schedule because they will play the Blue Jays, Orioles, or Marlins in 20 of their final 23 games.
That's going to be a big push.
And I think in those other 3 games, they're playing the Red Sox, if I'm not mistaken.
Now, for me, the easiest schedule, I don't know when they play these teams, but it's the Tampa Bay Rays. They get Miami 6 times this year on top of the 10 times they'll play Baltimore. That's 16 of their 60 games against 200 game losers last year.
Yeah, and a couple of weeks ago, I came out here and ripped Chris Carlin for when he came out and said that the schedule wouldn't be balanced, and he's got sources, okay, and I don't, so I was wrong on that one because it was. I mean, come on, like it was simple.
Yeah, own it up.
But,
okay, 4-4 here. Okay, they're doing a split. Okay, they're playing 2 in Atlanta. Okay, and then they have to go to Atlanta. Okay, then back to New York. They should just play all 4 in Atlanta. What is that? Why do you want to limit travel or not, MLB? Okay. Do you want to do it? What are you doing here?
Do you know whose opinion matters most?
Who's that?
Doctor, go fouch yourself.
True.
And he says, don't let the season go into October.
That's when the legends are made, though, Fouch. Legends are born in October, Fouch.
If Fauci tries to shut down the season, you know what they need to tell him?
Go Fouch yourself.
Go fouch yourself.
That's nice though. Yankees 20 of their final 23 games against the Blue Jays though. I'm not counting them out this year.
I can't count them
as
Orioles
and Marlins. You can.
Yes,
Orioles you definitely.
But you know what? I'm excited for 2 things. One of them, the MLB's getting ripped for some reason, but there's no day games. The Yankees have all night games, which
even on the weekend.
Yeah,
I didn't check the times, but wow.
Which
I was wondering how they were going to do that.
I love.
You hate day games.
I hate day games, and maybe I'm wrong. I shouldn't just jump to say I'm 100% on that, but I was looking at the whole schedule. I'm
I
pretty
think
sure
it's a majority are night games.
I did not see one day game for the Yankees.
I'm pulling up an article here.
Just go to Yankees.com and go to their schedule.
I'm on there right now. You're bringing up the.
Well, I'm trying to see.
And the second thing I love is 60 games in 56
See, like this
days.
one says the first 2 days of games, the 23rd and the 24th. 15 games will be played,
You're
but
wrong, 'cause
only
the Yankees
one.
are playing Washington July 26th at 1:00.
Yeah, only one of those first few games to start the season is a 4:00 game, Braves versus the Mets.
But there are very few. Day games, they're all on the weekend. You got the 26th at 1:00. Then you don't play another day game until the August 9th at 1:00.
Yeah, because there's not really many getaway days.
And then you don't play again a day game until August 23rd at 1:00. And then the Yankees play the Mets the 29th and 30th at 1:00.
Because you're not traveling any more than 2 hours away this season. 2-3 hours away.
Yeah, September 6th and 13th are 1:00 games. The 12th is also. And then you close out the season with a 1:00 and a 3:00. So they're all weekend games, and most of them are Sundays. So there really aren't any day games
Now,
during.
Do you think they have a reasoning for that, or is it just maybe the aesthetic?
No,
the
I
aesthetic
just-
of it?
Oh, Dr. Fauci said that coronavirus hides during the day.
During the night.
It's a nighttime
because you know the old story that God said, we rest on Sunday. It rests on Sunday, so
Right.
you're allowed to come out during the day on Sunday.
No, right. I just said why. They want to get as much viewership as possible and put it in more prime time. And there's no real need for a getaway day.
Good call.
Fauci
I wasn't
self.
listening to you.
Right? Games are only during the day on the week.
Yeah.
When teams are traveling. So there's not really travel this year. You're only traveling on the East Coast. So it makes sense. I don't know why people are ripping it so badly. I don't understand that.
I like it because we're not home always during the day, and now you don't have to worry about missing any day game. I mean, there's only 60 games. If you miss a handful of games because you're working or whatever during 162 games, it is what it is. It happens, but you don't want to miss anything during this season.
No, and like you just said, you don't want to miss any games, and the fact that you can't get to any games, at least as far as we know right now, you want to have no distractions other than maybe the baby, but you want to sit there at night and watch a game and be done with it. You don't want to worry about day games this year. Weekends are fine. Weekdays, I like it.
As long as we got the Chris stamp of approval, it's all good.
It's all that matters.
Give me an official run time right now.
We got about an hour and 10 minutes.
All right, so we'll just skip the last part of what we were going to talk about. We can add it into the show next week.
Okay.
It was just a little baseball debate we can talk about next week. So for anybody that wants to watch a little Yankees this weekend, they are running summer camp shows all weekend long on the YES Network here. Let me bring it up just for anybody interested in it. It looks like there's a scrimmage also Friday, 5 to 9, and then 4:30 on Saturday, which doesn't, based on the window that they're on, it doesn't look like there's a game that day. And then it looks also like 1 o'clock on Sunday with no game. So, hey, man, you know what? And this is what I said. I tweeted this the other night, and I said, because every time you notice that when the pitchers are done with their outing, they do PFP. And Kay had to explain, or Bob Lorenz had to explain what PFP is. If you're listening to this podcast, if you're that deep, that you miss baseball that much, that you're watching inter-squad games, you don't need PFP explained to you.
No. I was at my cousin's kid's 10 years old. I've been craving baseball so much more than I even think. I almost got thrown out for screaming during the game. I've never watched this team play before in my life, but I just...
Oh, at his game?
Yeah.
They're playing?
Yeah. The second I got to see any type of competitive baseball, 10-year-olds, I was screaming.
That's awesome.
At the umpire.
Yeah, well, you're ready.
So,
And what kind of cockamamie rules do they have for the kids? Like, are they?
well, they got the umpire. No, there's no crazy rules, man. They got the umpire behind the pitcher because they can't have him 6 feet behind the catcher and actually call balls and strikes. And it kind of took away from the game because the guy, first of all, was just a lazy piece of shit. He didn't move. He was, one of those.
Wasn't emphatic with his call.
Wasn't emphatic.
I need someone that gives me some
And
little
then
energy.
to end the game, he calls him out at the plate. Kid gets under the tag by a mile, but he's not there. He's still standing behind the pitcher.
Did they go to review or
Calls him out. They could have. I think the coach was recording on his GoPro.
shit?
So,
But can you get instantaneous feedback on the GoPro? Like, can you say "Woo," and then watch it back?
I think there's got to be a GoPro that
You could
does
do it with
that.
the iPhone. Just set up an
Yeah.
iPhone right on each bag.
Fuck
Rolling.
it. Fuck it.
All right, so hopefully we can continue without too many interruptions here. With going forward here, we're creeping ever so closely. 2 more weeks as we sit here and record this. 2 more weeks.
Fortnite.
Garrett Cole and Max Scherzer should be on the mound battling it out. I mean, I can't just get that vision in my brain of Garrett Cole wearing the road grays again in an empty. It's going to be weird in an empty stadium, but I'm ready for it,
I'm
bro.
ready.
Scherzer's going to be
You guys-
loud. He's going to be loud out there without the fans because he screams when he throws towards the 6th, 7th inning late in the game. He's screaming out there. We're going to hear every ounce.
Yeah,
of
I'm
it.
excited.
I can't wait. Let's
Yeah, I
mic
heard
these
them say
players
that
up.
Cole might only be going 5 or 6 in this start, but
Yeah.
I'm so ready for this, man.
Yeah.
I think if he's efficient enough, the fact that he's pitching 5 innings in a scrimmage, he could go 7.
It's a scrimmage.
Yeah, but I'm saying he's going 5 innings.
Yeah.
There's no reason why, if he's efficient enough, he can't go 7.
We'll see.
We'll see what happens. So thank you for listening to episode 183 of the NYYST podcast. Please follow us on Twitter at NYY Sports Talk because it's very important because we will be coming out with some new merch soon. Chris and I have to get together and finish up a couple of things here as we get ready for the season. And we will be running a contest to give away some swag also to get you hyped up for the season. If coronavirus cancels the season, then you don't get anything, even if we say that you win.
Right.
That's how we're going to be about this.
Agreed.
But thank you for listening to episode 183. Please leave us a 5-star rating and review on iTunes. Thank you for listening. Stat, what do you want?
No, it's going 5. 5 stars.
Don't do that.
Sorry, I won't do it again.
Oh, by the way, before you get to this, after the recording's over and we say, and I go, peace, like a fucking asshole, don't talk for a few seconds so the recording can stop, and I don't want to incriminate any of us here thinking we're off the air because we know what kind of mouth you have.
Yeah, Ryan, shut up.
I got a mouth.
You got a mouth. You got a mouth.
I
You
don't.
definitely got a mouth on
It's
you.
my younger brother.
All right, Stat Guy Ryan.
Go Yanks.
Chris, say goodbye.
Peace.